Are the Eagles the big offseason winners in the NFC East now? Kyle, can't wait to hear what you have to say about this one.
It's hard to say no to this one, Jen. You just served this up, tee high, let it fly. If you look around the NFC East locker room and you're the Eagles, all right, there's the Commanders, and they decided to go with Carson Wentz. That's interesting. The Giants are going to march out Daniel Jones again. That's interesting. And look, say what you want about the Cowboys. Did they really get better? Are they a better product than they were last year? I don't know, but I know for damn sure that those guys in green are. Remember, this was a playoff team with a rookie head coach. And now they're going to take the field this fall with the best receiver in the division, with the best O-line in the division. And if you wanted to pick apart the Eagles this year, it's their defense. I don't know. Is the defense ready? Well, they go and get James Bradbury, a very good player who I think is not on the Giants, mostly because he was very expensive. And Howie said, I don't care. Come on over, baby. That's what we do here. Everybody is welcome here at the Eagles Inn. And I think it's fascinating. He talked yesterday about you could have signed with anybody. Why did you sign with the Eagles? And he said, I looked at their team. This is Bradbury. I like their team. And I like their D-line. And the D-line is the defensive back's best friend. Who doesn't like the D-line? Whether it's Jordan Davis, who is 6'8", 450 pounds, or Fletch, or Reddick off the end, or the guy Nakobe Dean, who was drafted in the third round and could win the defensive rookie of the year. And the last point I'll make, guys, because 'tis the season, you always got to pull the schedule up. You always have to check the schedule. You know who the Cowboys start with? They start with Tampa and the Bengals. That stinks like 0-2. Here's that gauntlet that Philly starts with. Lions, Vikings, Commanders, Jaguars. That smells like 3-1. Philly's done great work in the front office, great work in the offseason. I love Philly right now. Mike Robb, join the party, baby. Join it.
I'm popping champagne, man. I'm throwing money up in the air. The party is in Philly. I'm telling you, bro. Howie Roseman has been absolutely a G. He's been in his bag. And this is what I mean. He's always thinking about right now. They're never truly in a rebuilding mode, but he also has an eye toward the future as well. You look at that trade with the Saints a little bit earlier this offseason, getting a first-round pick this year, getting another first-round pick in next year's draft, some second-round picks, another third-round pick. Howie Roseman has been in his bag, and he has surrounded Jalen Hurts with enough weapons so that they can make a fair assessment on Jalen Hurts to see if he's their franchise quarterback going forward. I mean, A.J. Brown, I remember sitting around during the draft, seeing this trade come through, and I'm like, no damn way this is really happening. Really? Really? They really about to let A.J. Brown walk out of the Tennessee Titans and go to Philly to be alongside Devontae Smith, a guy that he can show how to be a pro, a guy that now Devontae Smith can kind of turn into that number 2 wide receiver role when at the end of the day, he's going to be any number 2 cornerback. I'm talking about the first-round pick for the Philadelphia Eagles last year. And with all of that speed on the outside, it opens up things for Miles Sanders. And then, Kyle, you talked about the defensive side of the ball. Hassan Reddick may be one of my favorite pass rushers in the National Football League right now. You know why? Because he bet on himself. You look at in 2020, his last year in Arizona, 12 and a half sacks, 15 tackles for a loss, 16 quarterback hits, right? He's like, I need a long-term deal. Didn't quite get it. Got a short-term deal with the Carolina Panthers. What did he do last year in his only season there? 11 sacks, 12 tackles for a loss, 18 quarterbacks for hits. The guy bets on himself. He is an assassin when he's going after the quarterback. He understands times and games when it's the right time to go after the quarterback, kind of like a Von Miller. He's back at home. He's from Camden, New Jersey. There's the defensive additions that Howie Roseman added to this Philadelphia team. I'm sorry, I'm a Howie Roseman fan now. I've been critical of him. I was critical of him for his Nick Sirianni pick. I thought he was just hiring a yes man. Mm-hmm. I was wrong, Philly fans. Okay, you added me, you wrote me letters and all that. I'm sorry, I will never say anything negative again. But at the end of the day, Howie Roseman, the guy you got calling the shots, I can't say anything bad about him. And he's one of those top executives in the National Football League.
Okay. Damn.
It's refreshing, right? It's refreshing to have an executive say, you know what, let's do the best thing we can do, spend some money and bring in these players and try to win while we have this window. I would just give a cautionary tale because I've been in this chair a long time, and I remember 11 years ago, the off season, and it was a little later because it was after the lockout and there was a spending spree, but the Eagles went and we're coming off 3 playoff seasons. They had the number 2 offense in the league the year before, and they got Nnamdi Asomugha, and they got Jason Babin, and they got Rogers Cromartie, and then they went and they got, I remember it was Cullen Jenkins, and it was Donald Lee, but it was Steve Smith, the other one, and then it was Vince.
We beat him.
And Vince Young came out in there, and it was an innocuous press conference quote. But I remember Scott Hansen was the guy who asked it at the NFL Network, says, what do you think about the pieces added? And Young went through it all, and he said, Dream Team, ha ha ha. From Nnamdi to Rogers Cromartie to Jason Babin to myself, you know we're gonna do some things. It's just beautiful to see what we're trying to do. I would just say, if you're an Eagles fan, be patient. I saw flame emojis from Ian Rappaport's tweet when they got James Bradbury. James Bradbury was cut by the Giants. He was cut. Very seldom do Pro Bowl players that have great film get cut. And in this case, Kyle, you said, well, it's because he made a lot of money and all that. We've learned in the NFL this offseason, you can work things out, you can restructure. James Bradbury was cut. Let's not do any ticker tape parades down Broad Street just yet for getting a player who your division opponent released. Let's just be patient. Let's see how it all comes together before we crown the Eagles in the regular season. But yes, are they winning the offseason? Sure. Enjoy that trophy.
I love Ian Rappaport and his flame emojis, his dog filters when he's breaking news. Always a good follow, our boy Rap Sheet. All right, so the question, guys, isn't going to be who's going to win the division. It's who's been an off-season winner. And even though Stephen Jones here in Dallas keeps telling us beat reporters that he's not done in free agency, we're still waiting for them to make a move. And the moves that they've brought here, guys like James Washington, haven't really moved the meter for us. Dante Fowler, okay. They lost a lot of guys in free agency. So I got to think that when I'm looking at this division, I'm looking at Washington and I'm looking at the Giants. I look at the Eagles, and I think the A.J. Brown is one of the biggest splashes in this division as it relates to free agency. And A.J. Brown has 24 catches since 2019. The only other guy in his draft class to match that is DK Metcalf. And you look at pairing him with Dallas Goedert, Devontae Smith, you're finally giving Jalen Hurts some weapons. And when I look at the Giants, I think that they're going to get there. But I think Brian Daboll is going to probably need another quarterback and at least a year under his belt. I don't know what to make of Washington. I certainly don't know if I've got a lot of faith in Carson Wentz. So to me, I look at this division, you got to get past the Cowboys. And Jalen Hurts right now is 0-2 against them. In fact, he has more interceptions than he has touchdowns. That's why I think it's important that you give Jalen Hurts some weapons. And it doesn't hurt that he was one of the guys actively recruiting A.J. Brown, working out with him in the offseason. This is a guy that he wanted to be there. So again, going back to the question, are Eagles the big offseason winners in the NFC East? I think they're the offseason winners. I don't know if they're going to be the in-season winners because even though you mentioned there, Kyle, how favorable their schedule is to start the season, the Cowboys have an incredibly favorable schedule, period, particularly towards the end of their schedule. So again, offseason winners, free agent acquisitions, give me the Eagles. I just don't know what to make of the division as a whole, though, moving forward.